Hey everyone, my name is Danilo Petrovic.
I'm Ilya Marchenko.
I'm Denis Kudla.
I'm Evgeny Donskoy.
I'm Henry Laaksonen.
I'm Peter Torebko, and you're listening to the Game to Love podcast.
Good evening, tennis fans. We are back again after what was quite a, I'd say emotional afternoon of tennis, with France's TFO pulling off one of the greatest comebacks I've seen in recent times, beating Yannick Sinner, setting up a final tomorrow with Alex Zverev. But we're not here to talk about that, are we, JG? We're here to talk about the return of one man, the number one man. It's that man, Nole Fam. Novak Djokovic is back. Yes, he is. And it's the Paris Masters.
An event he loves. Novak Djokovic returning in an event he's won 5 times prior. You've got Daniel Medvedev, who won it last year. You've got the whole dynamic of Medvedev preventing Djokovic from getting the Grand Slam, the calendar year slam at the US Open. We could have a repeat of that again. We know that Djokovic is on the other side of the draw. And yeah, today what we're going to do, it's not going to be like a draw preview video where we're doing our picks. We will be saving that for tomorrow once we know all the qualifiers. This is just going to be sort of an initial look at the draw and obviously the big talking point of Djokovic returning. And it's great news that he's back. I feel like we have missed out a little bit on the big three. As much as we always say, oh, tennis is in great hands. We love watching all the youngsters. And it has been good. Don't get me wrong. It's exciting. It has another dynamic when we have these big players because we know what to expect from them. And ultimately, I think we've just got to treasure every moment while they're still playing. And Djokovic falls into that category because he is the number one player. He's going to finish year-end number one as well. And he's just a player who I just want to watch every minute I possibly can. And I'm not his biggest fan. I'm more on the Rafa side of the spectrum. But I still love watching Djokovic. And it's just pretty inspirational, if I'm honest.
Yeah, the one thing that I'm looking forward to, I think, the most is seeing the true sign of the champion. We know you get to see the true champions once they've suffered a defeat. And Novak Djokovic, he doesn't suffer many of them. Definitely doesn't lose many Grand Slam finals either. He lost one to Medvedev. He was sort of humbled. It sort of he's had the year of his life, really, the first half of the year. 3 Grand Slams, was nearly a Golden Slam, had the Olympics in there in between, and now this US Open. He's sort of fallen off, and he's taken a well-deserved break. I think he needed it. But I'm looking forward to see how he comes back onto the court. And I'm hoping that we get to see some of his best tennis again, just to prove everybody I'm not going anywhere just yet. And I'm just going to set myself up for the ATP Tour Finals. First one in Turin, he's going to want to do well there. And then he's going to follow on into his wheelhouse, beginning of the year, Australian Open. And hopefully for him, normal service will be resumed, I'm sure.
Yeah. And I want to start off. I know we was going to do the draw image first, but can you just quickly go to another image, which I just sent you? Because I think this will be a good starting point for Djokovic, because it's important to see what is at stake here. We know he's won this event more than anyone else. So if he was to win it, he'll win number 6. We know he's joined at the top. Is it 38 Masters titles?
36 Masters.
36. If he's to win this, he goes 37, and he will be the outright leader in that. So there's a lot there. And of course, he will secure the year-end number 1. And there is a few different scenarios which would prevent him from getting year-end number 1. So let's have a little look here. Novak can secure the number 1 trophy at Paris Bercy if one of the following happens. So if Novak makes the final, he will be number 1, the year-end number 1. If Novak makes the semi-final and Daniel doesn't win the title, he would also get it. So Daniel can even get to the final and beat Novak, say, I don't know, because on the different side of the draw, but he can get to the final and lose that final, and it doesn't really matter because Novak will still be number 1. Or if Daniel doesn't make the final at all, Djokovic will become world number 1. So they are the scenarios.
Yep.
And listen, looking at that, what do you make of it?
I think he's got
Is it nailed on?
It's near enough nailed on for me. I think Medvedev, I don't know. There's part of me that thinks after that US Open win, he's going to be in sort of a little bit wind down zone. I just got that feeling. He lost to obviously Dimitrov, didn't he, in that match where he lost 8 games in a row. I just got a feeling that he might go out before the final in this one as well. I don't know why. I haven't seen the draw yet either, so I can give you my honest reaction on the draw when we have a look at it in a minute. But there's just part of me that just thinks I think he's going to probably get it in this tournament, Djokovic.
Yeah. I think he gets the trophy too, and that'll be that. But let's see what happens. I think it's a good, you sort of nice little segue. Let's have a look at the draw. While you're getting up, though, I just want to give a shout out to Carol in the chat. I know she's giving me some grief for running late. Wasn't actually me. It was a joint thing. It wasn't just me. But I'm glad you've joined us, Carol. So he's saying 10:36 and counting. And I want to give a shout out to Michael as well. Really sad to see you've been ill with COVID.
Oh, sorry
Great
to
see you feeling a lot better. Of course, we've missed you in the streams, but ultimately the health is the priority. So nice to see you're back in the streams and feeling a little bit better. So rest up, mate, and we'll hopefully be back to full fitness soon.
Yes. Shall we have a quick look? I'm just sort of eyeing up the draw before I've even shared it. Shall I share it now? Yeah. Give me the go ahead, and
Yeah.
share.
Sorry, I put my thumbs up. I was drinking.
Oh, right. Sorry, I couldn't see it. No, I couldn't see. I had it on another screen. That was all.
Right. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to split it into quarters. So this is going to be the Novak Djokovic quarter, 1 to 16. Of course, he's going to be the number 1 seed. He gets a bye through the first round. Potential matchup with Martin or Fanini. You've got Basilashvili is another name who sort of springs out to me. We know he's been in good form. But for me, if I'm looking down there, actually, there's a few tough ones. I think it's not the straightforward one. You've got Cam Norrie, Indian Wells champion, Lorenzo Sonego, someone who has beaten Djokovic this sort of time last year, towards the end of it, and he certainly could have been for a shot. Or Taylor Fritz, who's playing amazing. Yeah. I think Rublev, as much as I don't want to dismiss him, he's probably one of them guys who's not in as much form as some of the others.
Definitely isn't. No. Cam Norrie being another one of them. Yeah. And like Fritz, like you said.
Norrie's recently beaten Rublev.
Those 3 players that stand out, Fritz, Norrie and Basilashvili. 3 great players. I think the only thing that might scupper Fritz is the fact he's playing a final, which is he's going to be playing that tomorrow. Yep. That's against Marin Cilic. That can be a very competitive one. I'm not sure if that's going to benefit him, though, playing that final. And it's a tough match, Lorenzo Sonego, in the first round.
Agreed completely. But I'm glad we've sort of singled out the same 3. Of course, Rublev isn't going to be easy, but I feel like I generally even think Basilashvili could pose a real danger for Djokovic. If he's hitting through the court and playing well, and everything's firing for him, that'll be a really awesome matchup if we are to get it. And of course, we know what Cam Norrie's like. The only thing I would say, it's not in America, so Cam Norrie's instantly taken down about 5 notches.
Well, I was going to say as well, there's a qualifier in there, and as we know, there's been some qualification matches being played today, and there's some very good players in the qualifying as well. Most notably, we could end up with a Jenson Brooksby in there. If that's the case, could end up with a Djokovic Brooksby again at some point. Who knows? Yeah,
you got Laxonen there as well. There's some definitely real good ones, but we'll talk about them more tomorrow on the proper draw preview video. The last thing I wanted to say is another thing. You've got Djokovic and Krajinovic in the same sort of section. They will be also playing doubles together this event. So something to consider. I think that sort of shows how much Novak Djokovic values the Davis Cup, that he's playing some doubles with Krajinovic, which is perfect preparation for the Davis Cup.
Oh, yeah, it really is.
Puts a lot of importance on playing for Serbia, doesn't it?
Yes, very much so. You see how much he really embraces it in the ATP Cup as well. I think he just does everything for Serbia, doesn't he? So good to see. But I like people who are patriotic and stick to their guns when it comes to their country. I'm not a biggest fan of people who disregard their nation and not so bothered. Used to bug me when there's people who, when they played for England football, just didn't really turn up, and they do it day week in, week out for their club, but not for their country. So I like it when players turn up. I'm sure, like even like Andy Murray, he's the same. He was always up for Davis Cup. He's always willing to be the man flying the flag, as is Novak Djokovic as well.
One thing I would say though, Matthew makes a good point. Novak playing the doubles, has he not learned anything from the Olympics?
Yeah. Well, hopefully he doesn't leave Krajinovic in the dirt like he did to his partner I can't remember who his partner was now. Felt sorry for him. I can't think off the top of my head.
It's annoying.
I know, it's going to bug me. Let us know in the live chat.
Stojanovic.
Yeah, that's it. You got it. Good one. I couldn't think of their name off the top of my head. Haven't said that name since the Olympics, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking down at that draw for Djokovic,
not straightforward. I wouldn't say it's an easy draw at all. I think that's a tough quarter.
Yeah, it's not nice.
Michael sums it up saying anyone can win Paris. It's like picking who's going to win a WTA event. I wouldn't go that far, but certainly it's very open field. It's not as straightforward as other years. I know Medvedev, I had him going all the way last year. I felt it, and I just felt it in the air. It just seemed kind of inevitable. I don't think that is the case. And you've got Carroll here calling for Cam Norrie to get out of this section, which is interesting. We will go through that later on. Maybe we'll go for each section. We'll just say who we think is going to advance. But for now, let's go to the bottom. And this is the same side of the draw as Novak Djokovic. So this is who they would have to play this quarter in the semi-final.
Oh, hang on, I've got everything, all my tabs all over the place. Bear with me 1 second. One's gone like, when it goes just off the...
That's the one.
Just off the screen, just enough so that you can't drag it back again. So I've got it back now.
Scroll down on this one. So if you keep going to Sitsipas, and here we go, 17-32. This is the side of Novak Djokovic, and you've got a lot of qualifiers here. 1, 2, 3, 4 qualifiers, which I don't think is an easy feat. You've got Felix in there, Andy Murray as a wild card. He's going to be given a qualifier. He may even get another qualifier in the next round. So he could be playing first 2 rounds here, 2 qualifiers if he's to get through. I don't think that's easy though, especially if it's like a Jensen Brooksby or something. Hurkacz at the bottom. Lloyd Harris as an unseeded player. That's not nice at all. And I'm calling it now. I think Sitsipas could really be in trouble first round. Obviously gets a bye. Second round.
I thought you were going to say actual first round.
First match.
I was like, we're really jumping on his back now if we think he's in trouble in the first round. Poor old Sitsipas. I feel bad for him. But we've seen what happened to Yannick Sinner. The same thing that happened to Sitsipas has now happened to Yannick Sinner. Francis Tiafoe has knocked them both out. And maybe that'll give him a little bit of respite. I don't know, knowing that Sinner's suffered the same thing that he's suffered as well. I don't think he even thinks that far in the past, Sitsipas. I think he'll just take this as a completely new tournament and just hope that
you're not worried about a potential Lloyd Harris beating Sitsipas?
No, I'm not.
You think he's going to be okay against Lloyd Harris indoor hard court?
Yeah, I think so.
Lloyd Harris. Oh, I don't know, mate. Let's watch out. Anyway, we'll save that one for the draw preview. Yeah. I think I've given an early indication. I genuinely think there could be something on the cards there. Big upset. What else do you want to talk about here?
I know we've got Hurkacz down there.
Yeah, just before we do, let's just on the top bit. This is interesting as well. We've never seen Novak Rublev.
Yeah.
Ever.
So let me just go back to the top.
Which would be super fascinating because that is a real possibility in terms of the seed and the way it's worked. We could finally see that matchup. It'd be interesting to see how Rublev handles it. I'm sorry, he must be desperate inside. Do you not think? Being a tennis player of that caliber and not ever playing Novak Djokovic must be a bit frustrating.
Yeah, I don't think his results have been that favourable against the bigger players, though. So I'm not sure. It just depends how Novak is playing. If Novak gets that far as well. If Rublev might have to play Fritz potentially in the next round. And I think Fritz could be a real danger player if he's still in top form coming into this tournament. So there's nothing that even tells me that we might see that matchup in this tournament either.
Yeah. Another strange thing is Bahumut here saying they always seem to be pairing Murray and Hurkacz together as well.
Yeah, I know.
There's a real possibility we could get that matchup.
Look, it's there again. Well, and Murray Felix. Look, if we get Murray Felix.
It's the same matches over and over again here. These players can't seem to avoid each other. I think Murray, though, he's gonna, if it's Brooksby in there, we don't know who the qualifier is going to be, but I know there's some really good ones. So
what do you
whoever they face is going to be tough.
What do you reckon on this for Murray? Gets through. Let's just say I don't know who he'd have in the qualifier. Let's say it's Brooksby. That'd be a nightmare. Then he goes through and he plays Felix. Then Hercatch. Then maybe Sitsipas again.
Yeah. It's all the players he's just played.
I know. What a terrible.
He beat. No, he didn't beat Sitsipas, did he?
Close.
He come close. So yeah,
ran him very close. But yeah, that was when it really seemed that Murray was sort of back to his best, wasn't it? It just, I don't know, it rolled back the years, but just wasn't able to just get it done. 5 sets, though, was a thriller. Who else? Jan Leonard Struff, can he cause anybody any troubles here, maybe?
Not for me, no.
All right, okay.
So let's move on to the...
I'll go up to the top and then
to the next section.
Yeah, so
the other section, this is the Zverev quarter.
Yes.
Almost called it the Casper Ruud one because I
know.
feel like he does deserve it. He is the 6th seed for this event. And I think it's quite a good section as well. Of course, first name I want to talk about, Francis TFO.
Yes.
He's there. Whether or not he plays, I'm not so sure.
Doesn't have to qualify either, so that's good for him.
Doesn't have to go through the qualification. But that's just tough to get out of it. Dan Evans looks kind of screwed as well. Casper Ruud in the amazing form. Diego Schwartzman's actually been very impressive the back end of the year. Probably playing better this year on some of the hard courts than the clay, which is bizarre. Dimitrov, we've seen already spells from him, beating Medvedev. He's looking all right. If he can find a bit of that form, he could go far. And Zverev.
I like this for Zverev.
It's nice. It's nice. It really is. Because I think he will play well against all them players. I know they're good in their own regard, but I don't know the head-to-head, but I'm assuming he's got very favourable head-to-heads against all of them players. I know against Diego Schwartzman, he certainly does.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see if Lajovic or McDonald, I don't think they trouble him. I don't even think Khachanov trouble. Dimitrov on his day could, but how often do we see his day? Once in a blue moon. TFO, we'll find out if TFO is one to be wary of.
Well,
tomorrow.
TFO's just beaten Schwartzman recently, so that would be good if we get to see that matchup again.
Yeah, I know. Schwartzman's looking really good, though. And surprisingly, he's doing it on the hard courts this year. Yeah, last year was the clay court master. This year, he seems to be doing it on the hard courts.
Yeah.
So it's quite exciting anyway.
Not a bad section overall, though, for Zverev. Of course, they're all going to be good quality.
I think Ruud
some really good players here. If I'm honest, I'm going to be cheering for Ruud. I'd like to see Ruud get out of this one. There's no secrets. He's a player I really like. Or Diego Schwartzman. I like both of them. But let's see what happens.
Well, you've got to remember, in this race for Turin as well, Casper Ruud is occupying 7th spot at the moment. Yannick Sinner is now in 8th spot, and Hercatch is now down into the 9th position. Obviously, no Rafael Nadal. And Cam Norrie, he is in 11th there. So I think it's pretty much between those 4. I'm not sure if I'd include Felix in it. I think it's a bit too much to do there for him.
We've got Vanchis and he's rooting for Gasquet. Hope he has a moment to shine in his home tournament.
Maybe. I can't see that happening, though. I'm sorry. I think Dimitrov probably beats him.
Don't know.
Yeah,
definitely
I know.
quite possible. But anyway, let's move down to the bottom section. So this is on the Zverev and Casper Ruud side. And of course, we have Daniil Medvedev.
And Karatsev in this section.
There's a lot of our favourites here, Ben. We've got Alcaraz, Sinner, Karatsev. I'm not going to say Buster because he's certainly not one of our favourites. And Daniil Medvedev.
Well, you've got the great matchup there. Carreño Buster versus Benoit Paire. I like it. That's a good first round matchup.
I've just seen something as well. Look at 57 and 58.
I know.
Karatsev Korda. Here we go again. And I don't think he's going to beat him.
It's the bogey player.
Korda's in terrible form right now, but he just beats Karatsev every single time. Weird, I think that matchup's happened. Is it happened twice or 3 times this year?
Yeah, I mean,
and every single time Karatsev's beat him, and it's Korda's beat him and comfortably as well.
Bageled him on one of them.
We've got Fekina there. We've got Marin Cilic as an unseeded player. Ivashka as another unseeded.
Yeah.
Alcaraz unseeded. Ryan Deneck, wild card. This is tough. I think this is probably the toughest section of the whole draw.
I don't know. I'd probably still go with Djokovic's one if I'm honest.
I think this eclipses it for me. Let me know. Let us know in the chat, guys. What do you think? I think this is the one. Look, you got Yannick Sinner there. Think about the surface this is on as well, Ben. Karatsev just won a tournament. Alcaraz playing in incredible form. Ivashka is a good player as well. and Fekina and Cilic. What about Cilic? Of course, this is the best section.
Nah, I don't know. The Djokovic one, you got both the Masters finalists from the last Master from Indian Wells in his section, Norrie and Basilashvili. Taylor Fritz in a final at the moment as
You've
well.
got multiple Grand Slam champions in this one.
It's true.
Well, Abumba's going, Nole is definitely harder. Let us know. I'm interested to see what you think. I think this one's the toughest one. Can Daniel Medvedev get out of it?
We know the matchup we want to see. We want to see Karatsev Medvedev, don't we? That's the one we want to see because
I don't know if I want to see that one.
I do. There's
I don't want to see it because he's going to beat him.
There's something about
Karatsev's going to knock him out.
Karatsev versus the other Russians. It's just must see TV, isn't it?
Well, another dynamic here is Karatsev is still in theory in the race, right? To qualify.
Yeah, he's in the race.
If he goes and wins, if he wins Paris,
then he'll overtake Casper Ruud and Yannick Sinner. Yeah, he'll go up into 7th. But that depends on their results. He'll probably...
Yeah, but he can still do it, mate. And listen, could this be his time of year? We've seen spells from him. Could this be an Aslan Karatsev tournament? Could it be a Carlos Alcaraz tournament? A real announcing.
Could it be a Yannick Sinner
change of the guard? Yeah, this is a really good one. We've got Carol agrees with me saying that Medvedev is definitely the hardest section. I'm surprised you don't see that, but listen, I'm entitled to your opinion.
I'm going just based off the names. I know you're going off based off recent form just in the past week, and you're probably right to do so. But
you're going off. Let's go to the other section. I want to have a quick look at it.
Well, I'm just going off. It wasn't last week, was it? I mean, if anything,
so you're telling me this section's better.
I'm just telling you the names that come out.
What? Just Cam Norrie, Ben, Fritz, Rublev, Djokovic.
Nowhere
Fritz, near the other.
For me, Rublev,
level.
Fritz, Norrie, Basilashvili, for me have been stronger. I don't know.
Okay, so you've just said them names. Let's go to the other side.
All right.
So you're telling me them names are more of a threat than say Daniel Medvedev, Karatsev.
Well, we don't include
Buster,
Medvedev
Alcaraz,
in it.
Sinner.
You can't include Medvedev in his own section.
Sinner, Alcaraz, Buster, Karatsev, Cilic.
You would probably put Sinner on a similar threat to a Rublev. I would say Karatsev probably, he must be on a similar threat to like a Norrie, I would say. And then you'd probably have Basilashvili probably be on a similar threat.
Cilic.
Yeah, probably. I'd say.
And then you got Buster in there. It's a little wild card.
Fritz and Alcaraz. Yeah, Buster. Yeah. For some reason, I've not even really included him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a few extras there.
I'm not really considering.
This is the section.
I'm not sure. Buster doesn't really worry me at the moment. Maybe that's a bad sign. I'm disregarding him. Maybe he will do well now. I don't know. I just haven't been impressed with him lately. I don't think that he's really been. He's lost 3 out of his last 4. Lost to Basilashvili, Khachanov, and Hurkacz. Only been able to beat Emilio Gomez in his last few matches. And look at the players that he has beaten. He lost. He had beat Monfils, beat Rune, and beat Ema, but then lost to Cressy, didn't he? Obviously in the US Open. It just hasn't been. I've not been blown away by him on the hard courts this year. I thought he was going to have a great one again. He hasn't done much, so I'm not expecting much more.
We've got Natasha there saying, I'd say Medvedev is the hardest by far. So Natasha agrees.
Okay.
And Zverev should win the title with this draw and can beat Djokovic in 3 sets. It's another thing to consider. This is going to be best of 3 sets. We know Zverev, I'd favour him. Best of 3 against Djokovic. He's got a real shot. He's been beating him recently. So let's see if we do get that. What I'm going to do now, Ben, is go through all of the quarters and we're not going to count Djokovic, Medvedev, Zverev, and the third one, Sitsipas. Fourth one, Sitsipas. So you're not allowed to say any of them names, and I want to give you the biggest threat aside from them in each one.
Okay.
So we'll start on this one here while we're at it. I'll let you go first.
Yannick Sinner.
Okay, mine's going to be Aslan Karatsev. I think it's his time. I think Sinner's could be a little bit burnt out and played a lot of tennis of late. We saw some frailties towards the end of that TFO one. I know TFO was playing great, but he lost his gas tank, sort of run out slightly, and he wasn't hitting it as well as what he was.
Lost his mind a bit, didn't he?
Yeah, so that's why, for me, I'm going to go Aslan Karatsev, but Sinner's definitely a good pick.
Yeah, up to the Zverev section. This one could be TFO. Who knows in this section?
It's a valid pick if you want to go with it.
I don't know, to be honest. In this section, it's a bit of a. I'd say, other than Zverev, I don't see anybody challenging Zverev though. That's the problem in this one. I think he's got a really nice.
Yep.
The only person that could challenge him for me is Dimitrov.
Okay. So who are you going to pick as your sort of outsider in
I'd
this
s-
section? You going for a Dimmy masterclass?
Yeah, I guess if he suddenly pulls it off again, but it's so I can't see Zverev not getting through this section.
I'm going for Casper Ruud. I think it's the obvious one.
Yeah,
He gets a bye through that first round,
nice.
and you never rule him out. He's in top form, and he's looking to qualify as well for the race to Turin. Another incentive.
Yeah.
Over to the top, the Djokovic section. Probably going to say the same name, or maybe not. Actually,
I don't know. See, this section is tough for me to pick because I know, and we haven't even mentioned like other players. Like I know that
Pelka.
Fucsovic. Yeah, I know there are some players that can cause problems. Opelka's been in awful form though, so I'm not really worried about him. So I'm not even sure he'll get past Krajinovic, if I'm honest. Fucsovic, he sometimes can turn up. Manarino, we haven't spoken about him much. He sometimes is a decent height.
In
Remember,
France.
he took Zverev to 3 here last year. Remember?
Yeah.
The obvious one's Rublev, but I would say Taylor Fritz for some reason. I don't know why. That's the person that sort of jumps off the page to me when I look at all these names at the moment for form.
I think mine's going to shock you more. It's going to really shock you. But the name, what's just sort of screaming out to me here, is Basilashvili.
I knew you were going to say it. If I don't say it, you will say it.
I just feel it. I don't know what it is. I just feel a strange feeling inside of me that he could do something very strange this event.
He's been doing it.
We know what he's capable of. He got to the Indian Wells final. I know that man in there, Cam Norrie, beat him. But listen, that's going to be my outsider in this section. I think he could really pose some damage. I know there's better players there, and he's not the go-to person, but that's the one I want to pick out from this section to watch out for.
Could we see a third round Norrie Basilashvili? A repeat of the Indian Wells final.
Oh, let's see. And if you want to go down to the last one.
Well, with so many qualifiers, I guess we can't pick one of those.
I'm going to go Brooksby.
Yeah, well, it could quite well be in that section. You never know. He had a real tough match today, didn't he? But he came through against Giovcek. I knew that was going to be tie of the
tie break.
Yeah, I know. So close, but Giovcek, really good player. Gombos, he's still in as well. Another player. Kuepfer as well. Another player.
Well, we can't have one of the qualifiers. So just based off what we know,
who
are you going to pick from the Sitsipas section?
From the Sitsipas section, it's tough, mate. I don't know. I feel like they could. If I pick Hurkacz last time, Andy Murray beats him. If I pick him again, he'll probably.
This is the hardest section to pick. There's no obvious name for me, but I'm going to go Felix.
Yeah, I was going to say, if he turns up, he could. I'll go Hurkacz then.
Okay.
I think he probably won't, though. I'm not going to lie. Not going to lie.
He definitely won't.
I know.
Now. He might have, but definitely not now.
I'm going to do a lot of analysis before our draw preview tomorrow and just have a look through all statistics so I can try and get myself the best opportunity to do well in this one. The Vienna one I've done so badly in. So,
but being honest, like everyone's saying in the chat, Hurkacz has got a good section. I know Vance is saying a few others fancy his chance. His section's really nice.
Yeah, it's not
bad. To be honest, he could, if he was playing well, imagine he's serving great. There's no reason he can't win this section.
It's a lot of ifs. Another qualifier that could make up one of these qualifiers here, playing at the moment, should he get through, we've got Luca Van Ascher. He is a set down, but 5-3 up in the second set. He is the French Open junior champion from this year. So he's 17 years old. And well, if he gets into this event, that'd be great. Imagine if you could see him versus like an Andy Murray or something. That'd be really exciting for him. Play an ex-Grand Slam champ in the first round.
We'll see, mate, I'm all for it as well. But I think that's going to sum up sort of our preview. The big news is Djokovic does return. A few little things we can just sort of end on is, do you think we're going to see a Djokovic-Medvedev final? Are we going to get the 1-2?
I don't think so.
Are we going to get a Djokovic Zverev final?
I think it's more possible.
Okay, that's interesting. So it's a few clues there from Ben on which way he's going. Let's have a little look. Lastly, before we wrap it up, on the projected sort of, I think it's quarterfinals based off the seeds and the way the draws fallen this year.
Sure. Let me just find that. I've got it up on a separate tab. Just bear with me. This
We've got
one.
Nina asking, do you think Zverev will become number 3 at the end of the year and overtake Sitsipas? Another possibility for sure.
Yeah, I think he has a really good shot. I think this tournament will mean a lot to him as well for that race, because he's. I think the last time he was at number 3 was it 4 years ago?
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy to think that how old he is. Was he 24?
Yeah.
And 4 years ago he was at his highest ranking. So he's coming back to some of that amazing form that he had, and I think it's great for the game. We've got people challenging now, the big players. Medvedev's done it. Zverev, he'll surely do it at some point soon.
There's a lot of young players here, isn't there? Looking at the projected quarterfinals: Djokovic, Rublev, Sitsipas, Hurkacz, Ruud, Zverev, Sinner, Medvedev. I've got a funny feeling we're not going to see their matchups though.
No, it's
Maybe not see any of them.
It's been a very strange year, hasn't it? There's been some weird people going through tournaments, and it has a sort of like WTA feel about some of these events where you just don't know what's going to happen. Before you know it, all of the players are out, and then we've got a Cam Norrie versus Casper Ruud final or something like that. Who knows what's going to happen? Maybe a play we've never seen before suddenly comes through, and maybe an Alcaraz. Who knows? Like, he could assert himself on the scene with a massive tournament, or maybe Sinner. He's not even in this little list here as well.
Anyway, let's see. I think we're going to wrap it up there. Big shout out to everyone who joined us on this podcast. If you haven't already, please leave us a like on this video. It really does help us out, and it allows Game to Love to grow. And if you are new, we've recently hit 20k subs. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, because the next step's 25k. Just before we go, Ben's got a word about our merch we have on offer right now.
So if you want to check out our new merchandise, here it is. Get yourself a mug, get yourself a t-shirt. And if you sign up to our Patreon, you can get some discounts on the merchandise. Come on, join the GTL family. Some nice merchandise there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Get yourself a King Leon top if you really want.
Oh,
Go wearing my one tonight. Keep him warm in these winter months.
Yeah, and I don't have mine on today, so I can't show it. But I'll make sure to get it back for the start of the year when Rafa returns, hopefully.
Definitely, mate. Right. Well, it's been a hard day of tennis today. It will be the finals going on tomorrow. We're covering TFO versus Zverev tomorrow. Can TFO do it again? That's the question. We'll find out. If you want to find out, join us for it.
See you guys then.